fret friends, we have a new project on the bench, and something really rather nice. It is a Gibson ES345, I believe. It's had a Bigsby tremolo fitted prior to it coming to me. The owner put it on himself, made a pretty good job of it. But he says it's brand new and it's got fretboards. So I'm going to have a look and find out what's causing the fretboards, and we are going to sort the guitar out. I can tell straight away it's going to need a setup. Now, while I was here, I did loosen the strings and we went across the frets with a fret rocker, and there are no high frets, which is absolutely, or which is fabulously good news. It means we don't need to do any fret work, so I think this just needs a proper setup. And I can see already that the bridge is not set right. The intonation is bang on, I've just checked that, but there's not enough relief in the neck, so I am going to just set this up and stretch the string. He says it's not staying in tune. I says, well, you've probably not stretched the strings in enough. With this kind of tremolo system, you need to stretch the strings here, here, all the way along the length here, and you need to do it more than once. You need to do it 4 or 5 times and get all the stretch out of the strings, and then I guarantee it will stay in tune. So regarding the fretboards, what do I think? Well, got pretty decent action above the first fret, so that's not causing a problem. I would say there's not enough relief in this guitar. The pickups are also too close to the strings, which will not cause fretboards, but it's not going to help anything. So we're going to drop the pickups down a little bit. We are going to put a little bit of relief in the neck. I'm going to set the tremolo properly. Now the tremolo sits over the strap in there. I actually do not like that because it doesn't sit flush to the guitar body there, look. Again, that for me is not installed correctly. I would like to see that tremolo go further up there. So can I alter anything there? Well, no, because that's all stuck down. So yeah, it is stuck down. So that tremolo's where it is, so I'm going to leave it. It's not going to alter anything because the bridge is in the right place, but a couple of tweaks here and there. For starters, I'm going to drop this pickup down. This could cause some problems if the pickup is too close to the strings, because you've got more magnetic pull on there, and it will alter the way the strings vibrate. That's too close to the strings. That's a little bit better, still a little bit high on the treble side. So little tweaks, and that's the thing with guitars. You think everything's a major deal, it isn't. We only ever do small tweaks. It's tiny, tiny tolerances. You'd be surprised by moving, what you can do just by moving a pickup 1/5 of a millimetre, how much difference it would actually make. That's still a little bit too close. So that would have changed things. So I am going to, I'm not going to take the strings off on this. I do believe I'm going to leave these strings on. I'm going to tweak the truss rod. In fact, I'm going to turn the camera on the guitar because we are live. Let's keep it live. You may hear some banging about. It's my wife upstairs. I think she's got an elephant up there. Don't worry about that. I'll go and feed it in a minute. Right, so we are on the guitar. I'm going to remove the truss rod cover. I'm going to slightly loosen the truss rod. It's too tight, there's too much relief. I mean, not enough relief. I think the neck is set too straight. You're not meant to have a super low action on these types of guitars. You'll be looking around on the bass side 2mm, maybe even 2.25mm. On the treble side 1.75 to 2mm. So I'll probably certainly go higher than I do on a regular setup. Just take there you go, just a feeler gauge just to pop that out there. Let's just pop these bits over here. Take my notched level feeler gauge, and I would be looking for an action of around about 0.25mm at the 7th fret area. That's the gap. So let's just slide this underneath, and it doesn't go underneath. So we are going to slightly loosen the truss rod. Make sure I get the right one. Should it be 8mm? I'm not sure. Round about 8mm. I have my Edwards one in here. wants to be that one. So, oh yes, it is that one. It is 8mm. So an 8mm truss rod adjuster. Let's give that a few seconds. Okay. That is a better amount of relief. I'm just going to let that settle for a few seconds. We'll check the tuning while we're here. Like I say, I have checked the intonation. The intonation is spot on, so there's not a lot for me to do on this guitar. In this case, if it's an easy setup, I'm going to charge 1 hour's labour, being 35 quid. It's my minimum charge, unless you have just a strap pin fixed or whatever, or a string swap. Quite a few of my colleagues charge a minimum of 1 hour. It's standard. Okay, that's good. Now the truss rod is settled. Let's give it another measure. And we're just touching, so that's absolutely fine. So I'm happy with that. So we are going to check the action next. I'm going to go for around about 2.25mm at the 12th fret on the bass side and just under 2mm on the treble side. So action gauge, Stumac string action gauge there, standard, and we are about 2.4 that side, and we are 1.25 that side. We're far too low on the treble side, and we're too high on the bass side. So just bear with me. It's just about getting it set right. That's it. Measure again. Still low on the treble side. .75 on the treble side, I'm happy with that. 2.3. Okay, we're 2.25 on the bass side, which I like, and we are now 1.75 on the treble. 1.75 on the treble, 2.25 on the bass. That to me is absolutely fine for this type of guitar. So that's all that really needs doing. We are going to stretch the strings in. We're not going to do that, I made myself out a liar. I'm going to loosen all the strings. So I'm going to check the frets properly before we set up. I don't see the point of removing these strings and putting a new set on there when these strings are more or less new. We just need stretching in. The frets don't need polishing, the fingerboard doesn't need treating, it doesn't even really need a proper setup. It's a brand new guitar. It just needs fettling. It needs a little bit. It basically does need a setup, but it doesn't need the full treatment. So let me grab, again, not straight edge, just to get the neck. We're going to get the neck straight. This is what I like to see. With the neck straight and the strings loosened, when you put the strings on string tension should bring it to the exactly right amount of relief, as it does 99 times out of 100, and that is the case. The neck is straight. So all I need to do now is go across with my fret rocker just check for any rocking. And we're going to check all three areas: far side, near side, middle. And I did check this when the client was here, and there wasn't any rocking frets, which means your £3,000 has been well spent, because trust me, I get many brand new guitars in here, especially heritage guitars. I work for an importer, and not all of them leave here without having fretwork done, and these are coming straight out of Kalamazoo. That may have just been a bad batch, but it's very rare I get a guitar in with perfect level frets, especially even new ones, especially new ones. But these frets are spot on. So it looks like on this particular guitar, and I don't mean this model, I mean this one I have here in this workshop, it's been set up correctly, the frets have been installed correctly, and you are certainly getting your £3,000 worth. Not always the case. So these frets are spot on. There's a big fat fly at the window trying to get out. I'd rather kill it than let it out, but I ain't got time to kill it just yet. Anyway, there you go. So I'm going to charge the guy for this the price of a brand new setup, which I've always done. A brand new guitar, if you bring a brand new guitar in for a setup with a receipt, I will set it up for you for £35, only on new guitars with a receipt, within 2 months of purchase. So I'm just going to give him a new guitar setup for 35 quid. I'm not going to charge extra for tremolo, which I normally would do. As I say, new client, get them hooked. Once you've got them hooked, you can charge them full price. Sorry, I'm just joking. I say a drug dealer joke. You find, unfortunately, in the drug world, to get you hooked, they'll give you your first hit for nothing, and you'll get, and after one hit of the hard stuff, you'll be hooked, and then they start charging you full price, and then your life is over. Well, not always, but you know what I'm saying. But no, just charge for a brand new setup on this guitar. And you're seeing everything live. I'll not be starting the video. Well, I will stop in a second because I've got to let the dog out. Advantage of me doing this video like this is the owner can see what I'm doing. And all he's going to do, if he wants to change his strings, just change them one at a time, and you're not going to alter anything else. Okay, I'm going to stretch strings in a minute. I'm just going to stop the video and go and sort the dog out. After a short pause, sorting the dog and doing a couple of other things, I am back. So where were we? I do believe we were looking at stretching these strings in. So I will crack on with that. Bear in mind, when you stretch the strings in, you're going to up the tension on the neck, so it is going to alter the action slightly as things settle. So that is to tension as it is, but we have not stretched the strings in. So bear in mind, when I stretch these strings, it's going to put more tension on the neck, it's going to give us more relief, so we are going to need to tighten the truss rod again to get the balance right. So let's check where we are first. Again, 7th fret, looking at 0.25 millimeters. You can hear that just scraping. So that is where we want the action, so that is fine. So we are going to stretch the strings. So I would start at the tremolo, then at between the bridge of a tremolo, at this end, and then stretch the string along the whole length. Rinse and repeat. And repeat. And don't do what I did the first time, press on the pick up. I didn't mean to do that. But stretch these strings in, hold it up, stretch in these areas again, hold it up, stretch in these areas again. And just give a good stretch. That only dropped to a D sharp there. So we've got all the stretch out of that string. And you can go again. Because once you've got all the stretch out of a string, when you use a tremolo, it's not going to go out of tune. Nice. On to the next one. So we're going to repeat this for all 6 strings. I did say you need to get to the point of just where it's about to snap, but you don't snap it. Well, you don't need to be that gung-ho and go that mental, because you can have problems and you can't actually snap the string. Like I say, because we're stretching these strings, we are putting more tension on the neck, pulling it that way, so it is going to alter the action. So we are going to have to check the action again after we've stretched the strings and got the guitar in tune. That's good enough. The thinner the strings get, the less you need to stretch them. Okay, hold that up there, stretch, stretch. Now these are slightly old strings, and yet there's still a lot of stretch in them. It shows to me that the reason it's been going out of tune is the strings were not stretched in properly. So that's why I'm leaving the old ones on. Now when you put a new set of strings on, you're going to get even more stretch. But make sure you do this on first setup with new strings. And once your guitar's set up, these strings are stretched in properly, your guitar's set up properly, absolutely fine. These are a little bit worn underneath these strings. But so I'm going to leave them on. Let the owner get his money's worth. Now this is where you need to be a bit more careful on the thinner strings, because these are more prone to snap. You don't want them snapping. I got one twat me in the eye the other week, or next to my eye. It wasn't fun. Like I say, that was stretched down, back down to E. So we're getting there. I'm not a fan of not just Bigsby tremolos, but any of these spring-loaded tremolos, because there's a lot of play in there before it even moves anything. So your tuning is never ever going to be reliable with these things. It's not just my opinion, it's proven. So you're never going to get faultless tuning with these type of tremolos, in fact any type of tremolo. Even, I mean, a Floyd Rose is probably, people say Floyd Rose is horrible to set up, and they can be horrible, but they are probably your best tremolo to have, because they're going to stay in tune better than any others. I see these, I'm not giving them a full stretch. Taking my time. If anything's going to snap, it's going to be your top E. So take your time with this, be gentle. that's as much stretch as I want to give these strings. So let's again look at the tuning and the action, because this is more or less done. I don't know how new this guitar is, but I'd say probably a few months. Pickguard's already scratched up, but they scratch up really easy anyway. In fact, guitars scratch up really easy. It takes nothing to scratch a guitar. So let's have a look, see where we are. See, and that E is already sharp. That's what I don't like about these tremolos. I'm all for a tremolo pedal effect. See, everything's been knocked sharp just by some slight tremolo use. So that to me is, I don't like them. Is it worth your guitar not staying in tune to have a Bigsby tremolo on your guitar? To me, no. Is it possible we can set it up so it stays in tune? 100%? Unlikely. Very unlikely. I prefer a pedal tremolo myself, but I'm going to stretch these strings in again and I'll keep going until we can get the tune. This is why we charge money for setups, and we charge as much as we do. And I'm not saying we overcharge. It's like, this is why 35 quid for a player setup on a new guitar is really cheap, because I'm going to do all this again. There's a lot of work involved. So I'm going to carry on, give it another round. You see the dilemma. So E strings have 5 stretches so far. And I'll go on and I'll carry on. So I'm going to go around the houses again with these stretchers, and I'll bring you back in when I've got just about all stretch out of the strings. It does take time. Like I say, it's going to stay in better tune once we've got all the stretch out of there. It's why I charge extra for tremolo setups. If you bring a guitar and it has a setup, you got your price, but I always had 15 quid for a tremolo setup because it's going to add to it, especially 4 rows. And it's not me that does this, all guitar techs do this. So you see, it's going to take me a while, so I'm going to do the rest off camera. See, we've still got more stretch in there, and once I've got all the stretch out, or as much as I can get out, I will come back and we'll see how we got on. So I've stretched the strings in as much as I can. The guitar is still not staying in perfect tune. It's just the nature of what these systems are. I mean, this has got a lot of play in it right here. It's not a stable system. You're never going to get perfect tune with these types of things, and anyone that says you are is fooling themselves. I still am convinced you'll get reasonably stable tuning, but myself, I would not have one of these systems on any of my guitars, just because you're not going to get perfect tuning all the time. So I've stretched the strings in as much as I wanted to, or as much as I can. I've checked the action with 2.25 here, 1.75 there, that's treble side 1.75mm, bass side 2.25mm. Got 0.25mm relief at the 7th fret, and I'm just going to check the amount of space or gap we have from the top of the 1st fret to the bottom of the strings, and I would ideally be looking for measurements of, and this is not the same for everyone, these are my measurements, I would be looking for a gap of about 0.2mm this side, about 0.3mm this side. More of a gap on this side because your strings are fatter, they vibrate more, and you get it too close to the 1st fret and it's going to rattle and buzz. So let's check the far side, and I don't really think these need any fettling. Just buzzing, so that's low enough for me. 0.2mm, 0.3mm this side. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy that they are close enough to the fret, so we don't need to alter anything on the knot. Happy with that. That is factory set as well. I would like to have seen a bow knot there. Is that a bow knot? I'm not convinced. I would think that is some kind of man-made derivative or man-made substitute, probably something like New Bone Graphtec, or what have you. So there you really go. There's not any more I can really do with this. Stability on the tremolo system, never going to be 100%. You'll get away with, it will be tolerable, it will be within half a cent of perfect pitch when you use it, but it's just the nature of what they are. You know, how can you rely on this kind of system? I think you would be definitely better off with a roller bridge on there, something like, I have to have one knocking about somewhere, pretty good one as well. I think you're definitely going to be better off with rollers, but you have 1, 2, 3 different pivot points here. You've got the tremolo mechanism, you've got a roller bar, and you've got the tops of the saddles. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you've got the nut, 4 different pivot points. It's going to catch somewhere. I would have thought one of these is going to help you. Sticking one of them on there, this is actually a particularly good one. I've had this knocking about for quite a while. I bought this for one of my guitars. Lovely brass rollers on there. And I'd have thought this is certainly going to help. Great thing about this is we've got a lot more adjustment for intonation as well. So certainly putting one of them on may help. Always a good idea. But that is it, that's as much as I can do on this. So I'm going to put the truss rod cover back on, and we're going to call it a day on this one. It is, for all intents and purposes, finished. So let me just get everything back together, and I will come back, repeat everything I've just said, and we'll tie this video up. So here we are, all done, and there's nothing more I can do than what I've already mentioned a couple of minutes ago. tuning stability is always going to be compromised when you've got this kind of system. You've got your tremolo wrap around there, you've got a roller bar, you've got your saddles, and you've got your nut. You've got 4 different stress points. Now normally you get the end, you're going to get your bridge and your nut anyway, but here there's going to be friction. This kind of system, where it not being stable as well, is never going to be foolproof. You're never going to get 100% tuning all of the time, and it's just a shame. But it's kind of what it's the nature of what it is, you know. And this system, you've got to expect that you're not always going to stay in tune. It's, you know, it's part of the problem, but there's no great solution. There is no solution to it. That said, what a lovely guitar. I think it was certainly a bit benefited from being kept stock and not having this tremolo system. But if you want the tremolo system, there is going to be a little bit of discrepancy in the tuning. Every time you use it, it's going to alter, and it's never going to return to perfect pitch all of the time. I've stretched the strings as much as I can. What I have done though, to benefit the guitar, is I set it up correctly. We've set the bridge right. The intonation was done anyway, but we've set the bridge at the right height. The treble was too low, the bass was too, well, that wasn't bang on either. A little bit too high. But the reason you're getting fret buzz is the frets are level. It's just the action was wrong on here, and the neck wasn't set right. I put more relief in the neck, 0.25 millimeters at the 7th fret. I've played it up and down the neck. It doesn't seem to be buzzing anywhere. The nut slots are absolutely fine. We're at the right height above the 1st fret. So setup wise, this is as good as it can be. Didn't need any fretwork, as the owner thought, so he's got away with a really cheap setup. I've not charged extra for a tremolo, even though I should. By rights, this should have had a £65 setup. I'm charging him 35 quid. I've given him a player setup for 35 quid, not charged for a tremolo. Kept the old strings on, so he gets the benefit of that as well. He gets to keep his new strings. But that is it. Lovely looking guitar. It is virtually brand new. There's nothing structurally wrong with this guitar at all. The strings are lined up correctly. Everything's in the right place. The bridge for a Gibson is in the right place. Normally, you struggle with the intonation, but the intonation on this is bang on. Really cannot grumble. Like I say, it may benefit from putting a roller bridge on there, but end of the day, I still don't think you're going to get 100% stability all the time because of the tremolo. Myself, I would be reluctant to use the tremolo. I'd use it very minimally, very sparingly, to keep in tune. It depends how critical your tuning is, how many songs, how big a set you're playing with this guitar. If you're going to be playing a full set and you're going to be using the tremolo a lot, by the end of your set you are not going to be in tune at all, I guarantee it. And you know, it's what it is. So, beautiful guitar, Gibson ES345, great looking thing. It's brand new, it's ready to go. So one thing left for me to do before we go is reminding my website, scottfretfriend.co.uk. That's just a holding page really for the best information and for the best, well, best anything. Go to Facebook, facebook.com/NG17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend, and until next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one.